The Bringer of Light. I always knew his name would be Luke, and never questioned why. I saw my son born into the world and held him in my arms within moments of his first breath. He seemed surrounded by light. Sometimes when I was at work, I would miss him so much it was like a pain in my throat that only holding him close to me would cure, and I would have to go home just to see him. I watched him as he grew, and I never took it for granted. Every day was a miracle. By the time he was 5, England was in a deep recession. Walking along Islington High Street, I would pass the closed, boarded-up stores, one after the other. As more people hit a financial wall, soon enough it arrived at my door. My contracting business went bust, and I had to let my 25 workers go. When my marriage to Luke's mother started to fall apart, I was lost in a world of pain. There is good reason why times of great distress are described in terms of descending darkness. Sitting alone at the bottom of the stairs in the early hours, feeling sorry for myself, I'd begun to cry hopelessly. I was bankrupt and unemployed, and my efforts at healing my marriage were failing. Nothing I did seemed to work. There was no way to turn. I could see no way out. Luke must have known I was in trouble. I heard him coming quietly down the stairs, and he sat beside me. He didn't say anything when he saw the tears. He put his hand in mine, and we sat together in the darkness until I pulled myself together. But after that, he never left me alone at night. It's strange how two people who once shared a great love grow so far apart they can't share the same room in the home they built together. That's when a once loving gesture can seem like a threat, and even well-intentioned words wound like knives in the heart. Soon, we were two people living alone together. She in her bedroom and me downstairs watching with unseeing eyes some late-night movie. Once sleep had come to the rest of the house, Luke would appear with his comforter and pillow, lie down on the floor next to the couch, and watch me with his big dark eyes, 5 years old, going on 100. I read somewhere that the American Indians would never shout at their children, believing it would rob them of their courage in a life that would demand of them that they be great warriors. So they speak softly, close to the ear of the child. I always remembered this, and when we were alone, I would talk quietly to Luke as he lay there wrapped up in his comforter on the floor next to me. Children love to hear the same words over and over. I would tell him yet again all the reasons why I loved him, and always I would tell him that he had brought the light into my life. It was always as if we were joined at the hip, and every day I felt privileged as I watched him grow and his life unfold. Riding in my truck, he was a willing audience as I sang out loud all the old rock and roll and pop songs of the day. Little did I know how much he was taking in all that impromptu music, till one day his teacher had a quiet word with me about my inappropriate musical influences on the child. Looking for volunteer performers, the teacher had asked the class if anyone would like to sing. A fair-haired boy with blue eyes sang, "I'm a Little Wallflower," followed by a little girl with "Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam." Then Luke took the stage. He plugged in his imaginary guitar, adopted the Elvis position, and with his hips gyrating at the top of his voice, he hurled out the tune, causing the ceilings in the little Catholic kindergarten class to ring out. "Show me a man who's got a good woman, come on, show me. I said, show me a man." "Yes, thank you, Luke," said the teacher. "But I'm not finished," protested Luke. Oh, yes, you are, dear. Yes, you are. He would often tell me what he had learned as we walked home across the cobblestone bridge to our house. One day, as hand in hand we leaned into the wind, our collars turned up against the biting winter cold, he asked me, "Dad, do you know what my name means?" He was surprised that I didn't know. "It means bringer of light." And then he asked me, "Does that mean I'm the bringer of light?" And of course I told him, yes, it did. And he smiled that smile that was specially for me. It was in search of a new life, with $600, 2 suitcases, and my 6-year-old son, when I finally came to America. It was 2 days before Luke's 6th birthday. Always funny, always happy. I would often have to take him with me to my work, and he would quickly make friends wherever we went. Everyone wanted to adopt him. Once a woman searched me out in a small gated community where I was working. "Are you Luke's dad?" she smiled. "I just wanted to tell you what a great job you are doing with him. He's playing with my 5-year-old son Matthew at our house. We have a problem with Matthew, always cussing," she explained. "Well, I just overheard Luke telling him, 'Matthew, don't say that word, say shoot instead.'" I thought that was funny. 2,000 years after Christ, and Luke is teaching Matthew not to cuss. I often wonder why people so often see their children as a burden, when they can be such a great support. Kids will often reveal a different way to look at life that will change how we adults see things. After trying unsuccessfully to work a job, I took a job building cabinets in a client's garage. And by the time I had completed the work, I had another garage to do a few houses down the street. Slowly I began to get more private work doing carpentry projects, until I began making small items of furniture. It was no overnight success, but when I was introduced to the Malibu Exchange, a barter group in Malibu, we were able to survive with the work they sent me and the help of my grown children from my first marriage. On a sunny day, I was driving to deliver a piece of furniture made for the owner of the barter group. In the truck, Luke sat between me and my friend Elcio. I told Elcio that I was feeling that success might be just around the corner, and that after many challenges, life was finally about to get better. I ventured that maybe I had not been ready for success until now. Luke summed it up very well when he piped up, saying, "The flower was not ready to bloom." Another time, with only a few days left to the end of the month, I was standing at the kitchen sink, washing dishes, and wondering how I would ever find the money to pay $1,000 rent. Looking absently through into the open-plan living room, I could see Luke lying back happily on the recliner. He knew nothing of our money troubles. And as I watched, he placed his hands behind his head. Without a care in his world, he crossed his legs contentedly as he sighed, "Ah, this is the life." When Luke had been neglecting his chores, I sat him down and sternly reminded him we had a partnership, and he had to do his share. I admit I came down on him pretty hard. He was still only 6 years old. I know now it was venting, nothing more or less. But this was about fair exchange, about doing our share and giving equally. As a father, I had to teach him these things. "I wash you and feed you," I told him. "I clothe you, give you the roof over your head and keep you safe. I buy you toys. I take you to school and pick you up. I put you to bed and I wake you in the morning. I'm here when you go out to play, and I'm always here for you when you return." And to my shame, I went on and on. All this time, he'd been sitting silently with his head down, and when I finally demanded, "Now, I do all this for you. Tell me, what do you do for me?" He looked up, tears staining his face, and he said in a bare whisper, "I'm the bringer of light."